The first report from Outpost I-17 arrived as a fractured transmission, just a single line, repeated on a loop. Something is moving in the glass. Then everything went silent. Dr. Valen Meyer, xenobiologist, arrived with a 3-person retrieval team. The outpost sat on the far edge of Kepler 9 2c, half buried in ash storms that never stopped. Its surface was coated in a fine white dust that glittered like powdered bone. The facility's entrance had been sealed from the inside. When they cut through the bulkhead, the smell hit them first. Sharp, metallic, almost sweet, as if something biological had been burned too cleanly. Inside, every window, panel, and reflective surface had been covered with a translucent film, like a membrane that glistened when light touched it. Valen crouched beside one wall, tracing the thin threads running through it. They pulsed faintly, like veins. "This wasn't here in the last survey," he whispered. A low crackling traveled through the station. The membrane quivered. They advanced down the corridor, guns raised, passing rooms filled with abandoned research equipment. And something else. In the corner of each room, coiled against the walls, were clusters of glossy, spine-rimmed eggs. Their shells were so clear that you could see movement inside thin silhouettes, stretching against their confinement, as if listening. The team's engineer, Lysa, leaned close to one. Inside, a shape twitched. It had too many joints. "Back away from that," Valen said sharply. Then the egg cracked. A silent ripple went through the entire station, the membrane on the walls flexing inward as though inhaling. The creature inside the egg pressed an elongated limb through the slit, its skin glass clear, its bones dark like ink suspended in liquid. It unfolded itself into a long, thin quadruped, almost spider-like, but heavier, dripping with a viscous shimmer. The moment Lysa stepped back, the creature jerked its head toward her, but it didn't move. It waited, listening. "Why isn't it attacking?" she whispered. Valen swallowed. "It's not hunting by sight. It's using echoes through the membranes on the walls suddenly tightened with a wet snap, and the creature lunged. Not at Lysa, at the wall. It disappeared into the membrane. The wall bulged, reshaped, and expelled the creature behind them. It had used the membrane like a tunnel. "Run!" Valen shouted. They tore down the corridor, but the membrane was alive now, stretching, tightening, whispering with hidden motion. The creatures were moving inside it, dozens of them, their glassy limbs scraping in liquid silence. When the team reached the central lab, the truth became clear. The researchers had been experimenting with prismatic organisms, alien, microbes that formed crystal structures capable of refracting energy. Only the microbes had fused with the station's reflective surfaces, forming a single, unified organism, the glass nest. Every shiny surface had become part of its body. Every reflection was a doorway. Every echo was a signal. Valen stared at a broken visor on the floor and saw multiple reflections shifting inside of thin limbs dragging, jaws splitting open to reveal glass needle teeth. "Don't look into anything reflective," he warned. The lights flickered. The glass nest reacted instantly. The membrane around the room stretched downward, forming long tendrils that reached for them. The creatures inside were no longer crawling. They were swimming, bending the membrane like liquid. One tendril wrapped around the team's navigator Sarn and pulled him upward into the membrane. His scream muffled into silence as his body was absorbed. His outline traveled through the wall like a trapped shadow before dissolving completely. They fired their weapons, but the bullets only cracked the membrane's outer layer. Every fracture instantly healed. "There must be a core," Valen yelled. They forced their way into the research chamber Omega. In the center of the room was a 7-foot crystal cocoon wrapped in thousands of moving threads. Inside floated a gigantic organism like a fetal creature, suspended in amber, its body constantly folding and unfolding. reshaping itself with every shift of reflected light. The core of the glass nest, and it was waking up. The membrane walls quaked as dozens know. Hundreds of glass-skinned creatures slipped through, merging, separating, merging again, like a living kaleidoscope. Valen threw a thermal detonator toward the cocoon. The explosion shattered the crystal. The entire station convulsed. The membrane disintegrated into shards of liquid glass, the creatures falling apart into slush as the glass nest collapsed. The walls peeled away like dying skin. The floors burst open with cracks of dissolving tissue. When the dust settled, only Valen remained alive. He stumbled outside, coughing, aching, barely able to breathe. His suit visor was cracked, fogged with dust. But in the corner of the visor, faintly, something moved. A thin glass spine, stretching, splitting, growing. He froze. The glass nest wasn't dead. It had simply found a new reflective surface to grow inside. His visor. Valen began screaming as the crack spread like a blooming flower. Transmission ends.